What's up, hustlers? Today I'm going to give you guys some information that is invaluable, right? It's golden. And I'm not going to give it to you all at first, not all of it. And I'll be straight with you, right? Some of that's because I don't want my local competitors using what I'm about to tell you. I'm number one on Google, and I'm not ready to give up that spot just yet, because I just got there, right? In 2 months, though. In 2 months, I became number one on Google. So today, I'm not going to tell you how to do that, but I'm going to tell you where to start to get there. I'm going to tell you the things that you need to do to build a correct foundation and stop paying Thumbtack, stop paying Angie's List, stop paying Home Advisor, stop paying all these bogus lead companies that make you pay for a lead, even if it's a crap lead. Excuse me, I got a check under this doormat up here. I gotta go grab real quick. Old school, right? Do a little irrigation repair, and they left the money under the mat. So let me grab this real quick. Oh, there it is. This was that halolawncare. How much time that took, how much time that wastes to drive back somewhere in peak season in the middle of the day to pick up a paper check. Alright? What year is it? Yeah, 700 years ago. We living in BC, right? Paper checks. I don't do it. I don't accept them. I don't take them. Every once in a while, I'll make an exception. This customer is one of those exceptions. Guy was an MP. We instantly hit it off talking about old army days. You need a little job done for a little bit of money, and I did it. And he wanted to pay with a card, and I took it. Take that back. You want to pay with a check. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm going to tell you guys how to smash online. I'm going to tell you where to get started. So just to preface this, a little background on me, right? I went to college for computer information systems. I know PHP, I know HTML, I know CSS. I know how to code a website from scratch on the back end. The things that I did to become number one on Google didn't involve any of that. So you can do it. You can have zero formal training, experience, education with web stuff and be number one in your area. And over the course of the next, I don't know how many months, maybe a year, I'm going to tell you how to do that. Like I said, I don't want to give it all away to start. But let's start with advertising. Let's start with getting you online. There's a couple of things that you're going to need to do to be seen. And a lot of lawn guys aren't into this kind of stuff. A lot of guys who are out there starting their lawn business probably have experience in lawn, right? Landscaping, irrigation, whatever, and that's their thing. That's what they know. They're not big social media guys. They're not photographers, right? They're not on Pinterest. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you intend to get seen, if you intend to get your own leads, stop paying other companies to give you leads. Some of those leads are crap. You're going to have to start using these platforms. You're going to have to learn how to use them. They're not that difficult. So what you need to get started, number one is a Facebook, right? This is the basics. Number two is an Instagram. Number three is a website, right? And then what you need to do is go to Google, if you have not already, go to Google My Business and create yourself a business listing. Now, here's what happens. Sometimes people start businesses that are brick and mortar, bread and butter. They go out, they start doing work, and someone leaves a review. Someone says they were at the business, and the location gets generated automatically by Google to correspond with whatever information that user put in. Now, in some instances, you can claim that location. If there's already a location for your business that you didn't create, and it has reviews, it has likes, it has interaction, or what we call engagement, that's good. See if you can claim it. If you cannot, you have to make one. You put in the name of your business, your phone number, your website, the hours that you work. And a lot of you guys think this is common sense stuff, but you wouldn't believe how many people don't even have their own business listing that they control on Google. And this is paramount. So you get that done. And I'll tell you one of the things right off that has me outranking everybody in my neighborhood. This is the only thing about Google I'm going to tell you. The rest of it I'm gonna kind of hide for later. But the number one thing that you guys need to focus on is photos. All right, when you put up your business listing, you can add a photograph. Most guys, when they create a Google business listing, put a photograph of their work truck, their business card, their logo, and they think that that's their business listing. They think that that's their business card and that it's online for the world to see, and then they go on about their business, right? They go to work, and that's all wrong. So the way Google operates is there are 1 million websites going up every single day. Google has to figure out which ones are important, which ones are current, which ones are active, which ones have relevance. There used to be easy ways to do that, right? They used to just tell you to put keywords in your metadata, whatever, in the head, right? And then you put keywords on your page. And so their little robots crawl the metadata or the back end of the site. They read your keywords, and then they read the page and they say, hey, these two things match. The page is about what the person said it's about. They can't do that anymore because people figured out, well, we'll just copy and paste the whole dictionary in here. So now Google has new ways that they're using to find out which page is more important than another page. Backlinks are the new keywords. I'm not going to tell you what backlinks are, how to do it. If you know, that's great. Start working on it. If you don't, we'll talk about it later. But photos are very important. The reason being is when you put a photo of your work, put a description of the photo, there are words there for people to read. They correspond with the photo. If people look for a service in their area and they're looking at images, or your listing pops up and they look at your picture, the photograph matches what the text says, and now you have relevance with Google because you're telling the truth about whatever you're posting. Google can read, right? But there's no AI that looks at the picture and knows what the heck it is. There's stuff out there to filter through pornography, things like that, but they don't have some robot going around looking at 1 million pictures a day saying, yeah, this looks like sod installation. Yes, this looks like irrigation repair. Ain't nobody got time for that. But what happens is if you post pictures that are relevant to your content and you have text that matches what the pictures are about, right? What happens is people go to those pictures and they look at them. You're doing two things. Number one, you're establishing dominance and authority locally with Google because people are looking at your content, right? That's the one thing that you're doing. Number two, you're increasing the likelihood of a person hiring you because they can see your work. Now, there's a lot of psychology with sales that comes along with this, and I'm not going to get way into the nitty-gritty of what kind of picture. Telling you guys about getting online. I had 3 phone calls and an email. I'm not even kidding. I get at least 8 to 10 requests for quotes a day. Not a week, not a month. In a day, 8 to 10 different people ask me to give them an estimate. So like I was saying, put your photographs on your Google business listing. It's doing a couple of things. Number one, it's getting your click-through rate up. People are looking at your stuff, right? Number two, it's showing Google that you're active, that you're relevant. So I'm gonna see if I have time to edit this video today. I got a lot of stuff going on today. I may not. If I do have time to edit this video, I'll put in a screenshot of my Google business listing over the last 30 days or the last 60 days. And what you're gonna see is they give you metrics. And the metrics that they show you are how many people went to your website, how many people used the call now button, how many people looked at your images. A couple more things, but if you look at those numbers, if you look at my particular Google business listing, people have viewed my photos in the last month 650 something times. If you look at the percentage of how many times my photos have been viewed compared to businesses like mine, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like, I don't know, 700% more. And then if you go under that and you look at the amounts of photos I have posted compared to businesses like me, that percentage stays the same. Because when I'm out here posting 42 photos in a month, businesses like me have posted 1 to 3 photos. And so what happens is every time you put a photo out on your Google business listing, every time you put a caption there, it's another little thing out there on the internet that someone might find when they're looking for something. A lot of times when a person's ready to do a landscape job, or they want it, maybe they're a DIYer, or maybe they're debating on paying someone, they're going to start Googling images. They want to see what it looks like. They want to look at sod installations, bed creations, landscape design, different plant types. If you're the guy who's posting pictures locally that matches the thing that they're looking for, and your picture comes up and they look at it and they stay there for a few seconds, it's going to start moving your rank up. And it's going to start pushing you above other businesses that are around you that aren't continuously putting photos on their business listing. So that's the one Google freebie you're going to get from me. The rest of the stuff I'm going to talk about today is smashing online when it comes to advertising on social media. A lot of you guys just go out there and spit in the ocean and you hope that it works, and there's no rhyme or reason as to who you're targeting with your ads, why you're making your ad the way that you're making it. So something that we do as geeks, and when I say we, I'm talking about my tech past, right? I used to work at Royal Advertising. We did SEO for Ruth's Chris, Chili's, all these big name, chain restaurants that you see every day that have millions of dollars, right? I worked for the company that did their ad campaigns. So the very first thing that you guys need to do is find out who your target audience is. And a lot of you think, well, everyone has a yard, so I want everyone to see my ad. And you're wrong. You couldn't be more wrong, because there's a lot of people who have yards who do not want to pay anyone to mow their yard. Those are people you do not want to waste your money on showing them your ad. And every time your ad goes out, when a person looks at it, if they click on it, if they do anything with it, they interact with that whatsoever, it costs you money every time. So you've got a cost per engagement, right, your CPE. You've got a cost per click, your CPC, right? All these things add up when you're advertising online. Anytime someone looks at it, touches it, breathes around it, it costs you money. And if you've got the wrong people looking at it, right, if they already know they're not going to pay you to do anything, but they want to see what it is you're talking about, you're wasting money. You're throwing money at these people. So what you have to do is find out who your target audience is. And the way that we do that as techies is we use what's called a split test, right? A and B. You've probably heard of that before. Now, when you're first starting, you don't have any idea who your target demographics are, unless maybe you've been in business for a while, you just haven't been online, and maybe you started to notice over time the majority of your customers are women, or the majority of your customers are ages 34 to 46, right? Things like this. So in my particular market, I can tell you who the target demographic is for me, because they're the ones who convert the most, or they're the ones who buy my service the most, right? It's women. They're ages 34 through about 58, 59. After that, they're not on the internet too much. Dig even deeper. They're single mothers. They're pregnant. They have newborns, right? These are all layers. They're different filters that you can stack in. And Facebook has all this information about every user. And guess what? Instagram's owned by Facebook, so it has the same exact data sets, the same information. So I'm targeting, because these are the people who convert for me, mothers, right? We've got the age. We know they just had a kid, or they're about to have a kid, right? They're interested in infants, newborns, preschools, things like that, right? Single mothers, recently divorced, elderly, right? Widows, things like that. So these are people who need lawn service because either they don't have the time, they don't have the energy, right? They don't have the youth. There's a reason why all these people need lawn service. So for them, this isn't really an impulse buy. For them, this is a necessity. They cannot do it. And so at that point, you know for a fact that's a customer. The only thing that you don't know is, do you have a service that you can provide better than the next guy, or are they price shoppers? But you know at this point, the people seeing your ads are people who need your service, right? You're not sending an ad out there that you just hit the boost button and you put $30 on, and maybe there's some 18-year-old dude who's going to see it, and that costs you money, right? That's foolish. People who have high school kids want the kids to do the lawn. They want them to learn responsibilities. I know in this day and age, the kids would rather play video games, whatever. But I'm telling you right now, you start targeting people with high school age kids, you start targeting young, strong men, right? Young couples. There's a bunch of ways to waste money online, and that's a couple of them. So figure out who your target audience is by using split tests. And what that means is make 2 ads identical and then target different demographics. And this stuff's really easy. If you go on Facebook, you go to create ad, you hit select audience, you're going to see all these drop downs. You can select how much money they make, you can select where they live, you can select what they're interested in, you can select their gender, you can, all the way ridiculous stuff, right? Political, whatever you want. So take an ad, put 2 of them out there, spend $20, spend $15. Target one specific set, one target demographic. Title it. Make sure you title that ad on your end, on the campaign side, the name of the audience. Because when you go back to use it later, all you're going to see is audience 1, audience 2, audience 3. You're going to have no idea who you targeted. And if you find the winning combo, you don't know which one it was, you're screwed. So whenever you select all these things, make sure you name that ad set that you're putting out. Women. Put the age, put the location, whatever it is that you're targeting. Put that as the title of this ad campaign. And do it for $15. Do it for $20. And then take that same ad and put it out to the exact opposite group of people. Target men. Target them at a different age. And see what happens. Trial and error is the only way to find out who your target demographic is. And you do that with split tests. And it doesn't take a lot of money. Guys who run Shopify stores, dudes who are drop shipping large quantities of stuff online all day, they do it real low. Real low. You're talking once they hit 5, 6, maybe $10. If they don't already have a conversion, depending on how many engagements they had, they kill it. And they just keep doing it over and over and over. And they can already see the trends. $10 in, they already know if they got a winner or not, right? And you do the same thing for your business. You start targeting people, specific kinds of people with your ads, and then see how they react to it. Over time, you're going to find out that as you target certain demographics, your response is going to be better, right? And then your money's well spent. So one of the key things that you need to start marketing online is to know who you're sending ads to. Otherwise, you're just throwing money away. And it's important. You might not think it is, but it's very important. And I'm telling you that the majority of your customers are going to fit a certain criteria. Now, once you've done this long enough, once you've figured out who your target demographic is, once you've converted enough of them, once you're making money, and Facebook has enough data from your current customers, you can do what's called creating a lookalike audience. And so from there, they reach into even more aspects of your current customers' lives that you might not even be aware of, and then they show your ad to other people that match these people in the same area, right? And this is artificial intelligence stuff. This is things that, we could sit here and go real geek and talk about for 2 hours, but it's pointless. What I'm telling you is that Facebook will find other people just like your customers. And the likelihood of them paying you is a lot greater than some random guy who saw your ad because you just hit the boost post button and dropped $30, all right? So targeting is very important. Now, I know I said I was going to give you one Google freebie, but I'm going to give you another Google freebie. And that is, try to funnel all of your traffic to your website. If you don't have a website, that's fine. Intend to get one if you care anything about getting customers online. And I'm telling you right now, if the only advertising you're doing is driving your truck down the road, and then when people see the truck, they call you, if that's all you got, those are all the fishing lines you got in the water, you're nowhere near where you could be. I'm telling you right now, 8 to 10 I get a day. I could sit at home, sleeping, and get 8 to 10 requests for quotes. Not on the road, not because people saw my truck, not because word of mouth, because of where I'm at online. So back to what I was saying. Funnel your traffic to your website. And the reason for that is this. Yeah, if someone messages you on Facebook and asks you for a quote or wants you to come do it right away, sure, here and there, talk to them. But you want to really limit that. You want to really try to dissuade people from messaging you on Facebook or Instagram, purchasing your services on Facebook or Instagram, because once that happens, once they've converted on any of those sites, more than likely they're not going to go to your website. And the problem with that is, in order for your website to rank higher than other people's websites, in order for your business listing to rank higher than other people's business listings, people need to constantly be going there. So Google judges the relevance of your site based on the things that you put there, like we talked about earlier, which is backlinks today, and then quality content. There is some on-page SEO, but by activity. So if people go to your page and they stay there for a while, they click through, they take an action, and if your bounce rate is low, all your bounce rate means is that when people go to your site, they stay there for some period of time, or they do one thing on the page. If people go to your website, they look at it, they can tell it sucks, they can tell you suck, and they leave the website right away, your bounce rate will be higher, right? There's more bouncing, and your bounce rate's higher. That's bad. So 100% bounce rate means your website really sucks. Now, don't get me wrong, people see the numbers at first and they're like, oh man, that's really bad, I got a 45. No. Ideally, you want around a 40% bounce rate. You got to understand that not everyone on the internet who goes to a website and buys something, you do it every day. There's all sorts of situations where people would go to a website to look at things and not be ready to buy. So if your bounce rate is anywhere between 40, 50, 60%, you're not doing horrible, right? Because 40 is where you want to be. So, forget the fact that we're taking out of 100 points here, because honestly, any bounce rate lower than 40 is excellent. So I'm saying all that to say this: you want people on your website. You want them to see your ad on Instagram, you want them to see your ad on Facebook, and then you want them to click and go to your website. Now, I know some of you guys don't have a budget for what you don't think you have the budget to do what I'm saying. But I can tell you right now that I did this for free. And I used a free application called Yardbook. And Yardbook has a button. And you can take the code from their button and put it on your website. And when a person goes to your website and they hit the Get Quote button, it directs them to the Yardbook page where they enter their address. As they're entering it, it auto-populates. They say, oh, that's my house. They click on it. They say what kind of service they want. They say what interval they want the service at. They hit the button and it goes directly to your email. Now, I've got that linked on my website. And so anytime I put out a Facebook ad, an Instagram ad, a new listing on my Google business site, a person calls me, I always have the person go to my website to hit that button. So if the Instagram ad says, get your estimate now, book now, learn more, whatever, anytime they click, it's going right to my website. If a person calls me, I say, hey, I'm on the road right now. I'm sorry, I don't have anything to write with. I definitely have a really good way for you to get your information over to me. If you go to my website, there's a button that says Get Quote, and I explain the process to them, and I force them to go to my website. I force them to do it. I'm not going to say I'll lie to them. I'm not going to tell you, oh yeah, there's times I got a pen and pad in hand, and I tell them I can't help them. But it's pretty close to that, because I understand the need for the traffic. My nose is itching like crazy. I just blew off this yard and there's dirt everywhere. It's like all in my nose. I know you guys probably think I'm on drugs. So I know the importance of them going to my website. I know the importance of click-through rates, bounce rate, traffic impressions, and ranking. So what you need to be doing, maybe you're not a techie and you can't figure out how to copy and paste the Yardbook code to your site, okay? That's fine. Put your email address on your website, right? If we're that basic with it, if we haven't really got into this yet and you don't care to learn, start there. Put your email address on your website. That's something you can type, or you can have someone else type for you. And then tell people to email you. Email this address, all right? Or put a form there. There's plugins for WordPress to create a form. Now, that's not ideal, because you want a good user interface, you want to capture, you want a funnel, you want to have a process from start to finish when it comes to someone online trying to purchase a product. But if that's where you're at, then do that. But whatever you're doing, make sure you have people going to your website. Maybe you're not even there yet. Maybe you don't know how to put your email address on your website. Put up pictures of jobs that you've done, and then have people go there to your gallery and say, okay, we're talking about a landscape install. Look at this job. Do you prefer that type of plant, or do you like tropical plants? Find a reason to make them go to your freaking site. I'm telling you right now. Do not interact with them on Facebook. Do not interact with them on Instagram. Make them go to your website. The more they go to your website, the higher your ranking goes. So today what we went over was find out who your target demographic is using split tests. All that means is put out different ads aimed at different people, see how they perform. If one performs better than the other, take that, compare it with another set of people, and you keep doing it until you find out which set of people performs the best. Put pictures on your Google business listing, and do it a lot. Make people go to your website. Alright? This is the first video, kind of fundamentals, kind of short. I actually got to go work right now. Keep hustling, guys.